Before the Reagan tax cuts, people could still get rich, but now we've gone back to robber baron era levels of wealth and inequality. So where's the outrage? I'm joined now by Richard Eskow, Senior Fellow at the Campaign for America's Future, which is hosting its 2013 Awards Gala on November 6th. More information at ourfuture.org. And Austin Petersen, Chief Executive at Stonegate LLC and editor of the Libertarian Republic.com. And Austin, Richard, great to have you all with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, good to be here. Oh, the plasma over here. Great. Hey, Richard. It's like, whoa. Richard, you just wrote an amazing piece for the internet about this phenomena that I just described. You want to give us, you had the 8 things that indicate that the super rich are just way too rich. Want to give us a snapshot of that in a minute or so?
Sure. I mean, you hit on a lot of them, but one of them is that billionaires like Jeff Bezos is a brilliantly talented guy, but a lot of this wealth is being created with government-created technology like the internet and with government-educated consumers and workforces, and is way in excess of what we used to see historically. So you cited a lot of the statistics. In fact, the top 1% in America has actually gotten 121% of the economic recovery since 2008. In other words, they've advanced their disproportionate share since then. We've seen people monopolizing and altering the political process so that it's far less democratic. You mentioned Sean Parker's environmentally destructive and silly wedding, which also involved him singing a song from The Little Mermaid to his bride, which I think should, he already got fined $2.5 million. Maybe there should have been another $2.5 million for singing a song from The Little Mermaid, but that's just me. So we've got a situation that really is Gilded Age plus now in terms of disproportionate wealth. And I guess I conclude by saying that while someone like Jeff Bezos is very talented, a lot of people who are billionaires nowadays really didn't do it with talent. They did it more with luck and aggression than anything else. And I would throw a number of internet billionaires in that category. So we really need to get back to a much more rational and much more free market economy in real terms than what we're seeing right now.
So, Austin, what is it that you like about America becoming a banana republic?
Well, I love the Gilded Age. I consider it one of the best parts of American history. Grover Cleveland, one of the best Democratic presidents we ever had. And Richard, I read your article today, very interesting, and you guys seem very focused on the rich, but what you're not focusing on is the fact that even though the United States does have a high disparity between the rich and the poor, we also have higher incomes and more disposable income than most of our European counterparts. And this is according to both mean and median measures. So we're not skewing this for high highs and low lows. But I wonder what Richard would say about that, Richard, because you're very focused on the rich. But think about this, with those Reagan tax cuts that you mentioned, from 1975 to 1991, you know, the average income gain for rich households was $4,000, but for poor households, they had a $28,000 gain because of those Reagan tax cuts.
You're defining rich and poor the way that you choose to.
In the quintiles. Yeah, this is nonsensical to say a $28,000 gain for a poor household when a poor household doesn't earn $28,000. I guess it's real simple, Austin. You told us with these tax cuts for the rich we'd have all sorts of jobs. Where are the jobs?
Well, I don't know. Ask President Obama. He's been in office long enough to make a tick in this. Sure. Yeah, so maybe if we weren't implementing this Unaffordable Care Act, we might have a better chance.
Look at the 1887 State of the Union address that your hero Grover Cleveland gave, where he said, when we look at the American landscape, we see trusts and combinations. Right. The iron heel of the corporation is on the neck of the American people. He was speaking out against the Gilded Age.
Well, no, I think
the Gilded Age was a period of time that was the most grinding poverty for working class people in America. It was a time when people who owned companies were literally shooting working people with machine guns.
Listen, Tom, I think that what Grover Cleveland was anticipating was the rise of corporatism in the United States. And what we have here are corporations that have captured the government. And the issue here is not necessarily the corporations have too much power on their own, because corporations in a free market would only have the power given to them by consumers. However, after the rise of the New Deal, when the economy had collapsed in the 1920s, and then they said that we need to have a New Deal, they said that corporations and government need to work together. Look at the History Channel episode, The History of Us. Hold on, they do an episode of the New Deal, and they show that government and corporations got in bed together. So the problem here is is not the corporations. The problem is that the corporatism that is involved with the corporations getting in bed, writing the regulations, taking advantage of the people through the government. This is New Deal corporatism and mercantilism.
I get it. You watched the History Channel.
This is Alexander Hamilton's battle between Jefferson, and you're arguing the Hamiltonian side, and I'm arguing the side of freedom.
No, the era of the robber barons was the last time we had a monopolistic era in the United States, and post 1980 was the second time we had a monopolistic era. The change happened after the great crash of 1898 and the rise of populism and the progressives, Teddy Roosevelt, Taft, two Republican presidents, enforcing the Sherman Antitrust Act,
progressive Republican and progressive Democrat, both corporatists.
Let's bring Richard into this.
You know where? Yeah. Let's look. You know, I would have thought that we'd have allies among the libertarian community, and I think here and there we do. That when corporations become so powerful that and a few wealthy individuals become so powerful that they monopolize the political process, enforce deregulation that allows the aggressors to buy up and drive out of business their competitors, and destroy any semblance of what we might call a free market, I would have thought we'd have some libertarian
Richard, you're talking out of both sides of your head, my friend. Now listen, the corporations, they want regulations. There's no deregulation
out of both sides of it.
There has been no deregulation in this country.
Austin, don't filibuster. I'm not the one talking out of both sides of my head here. You either like this concentration of wealth and the corruption of our political process, or you don't.
No, let me tell you what I like.
Let me finish. I said I don't. You said you do. Explain yourself.
Because the Czech Republic is listed as having the least disparity.
Don't talk to me about the Czech Republic.
Hold on. We want to talk about wealth disparity.
Position.
Listen, in the Czech Republic right now, the wealth disparity is the lowest it is in the world. But these people are 27 out of 38 in disposable income. So why don't you go live in the Czech Republic, where they have no money to spend on goods and services, but they're very close together in wealth disparity? Yeah, you can be really close. You can be poor and really close to the rich guy, but if you're both poor, it's a terrible opportunity to live.
I asked you a simple question, and you talked to me about the Czech Republic.
I'm talking about wealth disparity, because in the United States we do have great wealth disparity, and the problem is not the gap between the rich and poor. The problem is that the poor get better off over time. And I've explained to you, sir, that between 1971 and 1991, the poor have gotten better off in the United States, after all, because of free market capitalism, sir, and you are ignoring that, and you are causing the poverty that you claim to be against. And you say it's deregulation, sir, but it is the regulation of these corporations that they demand.
Now, which is it? Am I ignoring the poverty, or am I causing it? Explain yourself, because either is gibberish, but I'm wondering which is your actual position.
And that's going to be where we wrap it up. Austin, Richard, great to see you both. Thank you.